Thank you. Meeting's called to order at 7:11 PM. Members present, all selectmen are present. Hear from the public. Do we have anything? Thank you. We'll move merrily along. First selectmen's briefing. I have a number of things. In case you weren't aware, cell phone charging station has been installed on the sidewalk on the side of the town office building. That was the library that did that. Carol Ann McMaster got a $3,000 grant. And that cell phone charging station will charge up to 12 cell phones at the same time. And it's solar powered. Okay, so that was nice.
Was that grant through the library, you said?
Yep, she did it through her job at the library.
Wow, terrific.
Yep. Regarding the pickup truck that we reported on at the last meeting, according to Joe, it is repairable, but the repair won't last. So he got a second opinion or got a different doctor, so to speak, for it. All right. Some good news is we got money back from Storm Isaiah. It's $19,027.23.
19 what, Catherine?
$19,027.23.
23, okay. That was from Isaiah?
Yes. And I can't remember if I already told you, but with that bottle bill for the little Nips bottles, the town of Ashford can expect to receive $11,900. I can tell you Towland is receiving $20,872. And Wellington is receiving only $1,400. And I believe it's based upon the amount of sales in the town. So we're right up there.
Nip bottles?
The sale of nips, nip bottles.
And we're getting a grant because why? Because we sell so many?
It's not a grant. We're getting money back. There was legislation that said it was part of reducing litter. Is that there's, I don't know, money at 5 cents or whatever on each bottle. And that's taken. And the liquor store basically gives that money to the town.
Interesting.
Yeah. But
Roger, keep taking those nips.
It's supposed to be used for like roadside cleanup, that kind of thing.
Huh.
The same thing that Pam Summers is trying, gets volunteers to help with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up many a Nips bottle. Okay.
We've got some character that goes by my house. It's been happening for probably 5 years. Throws one out. I'm going to catch him one of these days, but I find him at least 2 or 3 bottles, same spot, 2-3 times a week.
We could set up something special there for that person.
I've been thinking about it.
That's fun to think about. Okay, our elevator in Knowlton Hall, I'm not sure of its status at this time, but we certainly, it was out of service all last week. And we've since found a manual that can help the Otis people do their repair. Chris, have you heard anything more on that one?
No, I didn't get a chance to call him today. I'll give him a call tomorrow.
I don't think the repair is done yet. I think I would have heard from Carol Ann if it was.
When I spoke to Joey was the contact because he has the manual.
Good.
And he hadn't heard from the technician yet.
Okay, so I certainly told the company that every day that elevator's not working, we're in ADA, out of compliance with ADA. Okay. We're still awaiting assessments from CES, the company that's doing the evaluation of our town-owned buildings. They've been provided with, at this point, I believe they've been provided with all of the energy and any kind of utility bills that these buildings have had over the past year. That was a big job for Chris to have to pull this stuff together. Text.my.gov was successfully launched. We have quite a few people have signed up for it, and most particularly for storm updates. What we're going to do, I'm going to make a request, Bill, to have them put in a keyword that's just for town office building employees so that they can be notified in the event of any kind of an issue. And it will be for internal use. Okay. The train HVAC upgrade is supposed to happen. It'll happen in the next 6 to 8 weeks. They're ordering the materials. Okay. Property cleanups at 468, 470 North Road. I'm not sure if you were aware, but we placed a lien on the property to recover $14,000 in family displacement costs when that building was deemed to be unsafe.
What was that, 14,000 you said?
Yeah, 14,000.
I know we talked about it, so we put it in for it?
We put in for it a while ago. I just forgot to mention it. We also have Southworth Drive. We have zoning violations that we've been pursuing basically for the last year, but it's moved into the realm of the attorney contacting him. So we're working on that.
You said Southworth?
Yeah. Speeding and road safety is the new thing. Maybe not so new. So the solar powered speed signs, I know one's on Turnpike Road. I believe the other one may have been put up on North Road. We had an accident yesterday on Westford Hill Road. A car was run off the road and a Jeep got totaled, and there were minor injuries on the part of the person who was in the Jeep. That's Bill.
Sorry.
So I'm mentioning this because when you start to think about where else to put these flashing signs and capture data, that is one of the places. And someone from Westford Hill Road called me today about that. And Pumpkin Hill is another one. So the way these signs work is you put them in place for 6 to 8 weeks. They capture data that can be used to do analysis and can be provided to the state police. And once they've been used on a town road, at least once, they can be used on a state road with the proper authorization, but they can be used there. So I recommend that at some point that they're put up at the school and on Route 44 out here where people are speeding down the hill. Let's get real data on what this stuff is so we can figure out how to fix it.
I'm getting background from somebody. Can somebody mute their mic or whatever?
Judy, do you have your mic muted?
I'm gonna check.
Okay.
We still have it. Kay, could you mute yours? I still hear it.
I don't anymore.
Okay. So anyway, that's what I would recommend. We also received a couple of complaints today about leaves being blown on into the road on the corner of Cushman and Varga. It's a safety issue to the point where a gentleman from Mansfield called because actually the first complaint was that someone saw the leaves in the road and on the sides of the road piled up. It was clear that they were put there intentionally, and mentioned in passing that she knew a truck had come through and it sounded like it was skidding. What was funny was not more than an hour later, a guy called from Mansfield to say he almost had an accident there because his truck ended up fishtailing there because of the leaves. And his tires only have about 100 miles on them. They were new tires. So, and he was just very concerned about people's safety. There's also a person who has a motorcycle that goes through there, and I don't know how well he would fare. So I've contacted the person who we believe put the leaves in the road and asked him to get them out of the road. They also are probably clogging up the drains because there's so many. I mean, when you've got something like 3 feet high, that's something to be concerned about. All right. I think we're going to have a COVID clinic sometime soon. I've been working with Martha Sibley Jett, and the COVID clinic would be for 5 to 11-year-olds and to allow people to get their booster shots. She's working on it now. She hasn't got a date set, but what we've been doing is holding those in Knowlton Memorial Hall. Also, we have, remember the Juvenile Review Board that we agreed that Ashford would be part of?
Yep.
Well, we've received a contract for that. So Bill, you're going to need to review that contract, and I suggest that you review it with Erica over in Wellington. It's for Wellington, Mansfield, and Ashford. You may or may not want to have our attorney take a look at it. It didn't look like it was a problem to me, but you may want to do that. If you'll recall, and I don't know that we pulled up the motion. We had a motion probably a couple of meetings back, which made me the signatory for grant monies being used for the affordable housing plan that's due July 1st, 2022. And so Bill, what I'd like to do in this meeting is get a motion added to the meeting. I'm sorry, an agenda item added to the meeting to add you as a signatory for those grant monies, replacing me.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Also, when we get down to American Rescue Plan, I'd like to add something to the list. You know, we've got a list there. It's, you know, just things that have come up so far that have come up either through in this office or where we have a good understanding of them. We've been collecting data from survey data from the community, and Bill, I think you're aware of that. Chris has a book that's got everybody's contributions to that survey responses. And I think I had suggested at the last meeting that once we've collected enough of them to kind of organize them and then hold a public hearing to invite more from the public. What we have now is something that's kind of primed the pump. So one of the things I do want to mention tonight is that we don't have any money set aside for PPE. We had monies from the COVID relief fund that we had last year that has since run out. And we need to make sure that we're able to cover PPE. And so I'm thinking a rough estimate of about $1,000 for basic PPE. We've done pretty much everything here in the town offices we need to do to keep the employees and public as safe as possible under the circumstances. Okay, so let's see. Going into, let's see if I have anything else here. Bear with me. I think everything else I want to talk about tonight is on the agenda. So that's all I have for that.
Catherine,
Yes.
I had a hard time getting on and I missed the public to be heard.
Okay. Is there something you'd like to say?
Yeah, it's very short.
Okay.
I was omitted from the minutes of the last meeting in which I did attend.
Very good. We'll make sure that we're just going to be coming up on minutes in a minute. So,
And I also brought up about wanting to put the Tremco House on the American Recovery Plan. That was not in there either.
okay. And actually,
Thank you.
yes, thank you. I think we were treating that as one of the, almost like a response to the survey. So that was noted elsewhere. Okay. Hear from boards, commissions, committees. I don't think we have anybody here who's looking to report tonight. Guess not. Okay, acceptance of minutes of regular meeting of November 1st, 2021. And with that, I believe we need to update them to reflect that Kay Warren attended and requested that monies from ARPA be used to offset some costs of the Trenco House renovation. Would that be correct?
Yes,
Okay,
yes. I don't know if Joan got on or not, but she was also left off of the minutes for attending the meeting as well.
I'm sorry?
No, she's on the minutes. Kay, you know what? Kay, you're
Okay,
on,
you're on the minutes and Joan are
Yeah.
in the minutes.
you're both on there as guests.
We both were,
Yeah,
because she
Uh-huh.
looked and she said, I didn't see it.
She's-
She
she's
said
incorrect.
neither one of us
Yeah,
were on there.
she's incorrect. We had Cheryl Baker, Mike D'Amato, Paul Varga, Joan Boley, Kay Warren, Janet
Okay.
Bellamy,
Then I stand
Sanborn.
corrected.
and Jeff. Okay, and let's see, what else do we have here? But
But
we will add the statement that you made. Let me just see what we got here.
Yeah, about the money.
Yep.
Yeah,
We'll do.
okay. Thank you very much.
Ashley, do we have a motion to accept the minutes with those revisions?
So moved.
Seconded.
Do we have okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Thanks, Kay. Okay. The,
Welcome.
discuss reopening strategies. I have been round and round the barn on this. We started out with, we already have approved 2,000 to 2,500 to support hybrid meetings here in the town office building. And I worked with Savage and with Mike D'Amato on options, and we've come full circle and have talked with some people in other towns and what they're using. And my recommendation is to get an owl. It's an owl camera with sound. And it's the cost, I believe, is about $1,200 for the owl camera and what comes with it to stabilize it, and an extra long cord. And a what we call a thin client laptop. That means it's a laptop that you really only have to have some security on it, of course, for signing in, but also that it has internet access. And that laptop can be used to download the software for the owl onto it. And so they go as a pair, and they can be used in any of the rooms here. That's set. So, and that is certainly less than the 2,500 we talked about before. So I'd like to pursue that. If we find, and I'm assuming that we will find that this is going to meet our purposes, especially since, well, based upon the size of these rooms. Think of it as 3 rooms. We have the large conference room downstairs. We have the Selectmen's conference room, and we have the small meeting room that's downstairs as well. And if we do have meetings that are in conflict with each other, we'll work them out some way. But at this point, I think we should get this and get it in place as quickly as possible. And I'm more than willing to help with the setup. So that's where I am with that. Thoughts, gentlemen?
You know, if that seems to be working well, I mean, certainly, yep, we need to pursue it.
It's working in Wellington, it's working in Bolton, I believe it's working in Tolland. And there were some other places named. They're the ones that are most meaningful to me.
Would there be a chance, I assume that, what are they covered over Zoom?
I'm sorry?
Are they covered over Zoom?
No, the way it works is Zoom is its own technology and Owl is its own. And Owl is all about showing who's in the room. Okay? And focusing on whoever's in the room. So what you'd see at the top of the screen is you would see a panoramic view of the room. And what you'd see also, and it would be on the Zoom screen, if you will, what you'd also see is the person who's talking, and you'd see Zoom.
I perhaps misstated my question, but
Oh,
so they would continue, the meetings would be under Zoom. You'd link
Yes.
to that.
yes,
This OWL system would complement the delivery of the photographs,
very well said. Yeah, of the video.
of the videos.
Yeah, and yeah, Zoom is an entirely separate thing, and that is something I want to talk to you about when we get down to the American Rescue Plan. okay, as well. But Zoom is entirely separate in terms of its technology and its cost.
Chris, would it be possible for you to note for us three some of the meetings that they're using this? I'd like to see it in use for myself. And then we can move on it next week or our next meeting or whatever. I'd just like to see the application. I mean, I'm certainly pleased with the cost and the concept that you're talking about, Catherine. It's just I'm unfamiliar with the system itself.
Okay. Just be aware that if, when it comes to people wanting to be in person and not everybody's going to want to be in person by any means.
Yeah.
And I'm very sure of that, that you're going to want to have this set up.
Yeah.
And
And I know we've talked about it before, and I like the concept. I just like to see it in action.
yeah, I've seen a demo, but
Okay.
I haven't gone to another town to watch theirs.
Hey,
Okay.
Catherine.
Yeah, you're not going
Can
to
I
see it in action until we buy it.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say something. First of all, it's fantastic technology. I've seen it work. And Bill, it enables people to have a meeting in person, but also be like, for me, traveling, we can still do this, but if you want to be in person, that group can be in the room. I don't know, but I think if you went to Wellington or Tolland's videos, on their YouTube, because their videos are up, you should be able to see how it works, but I'm not positive if YouTube captures it.
Yeah,
we
I
use
don't,
it at work now.
If I was to go into a Wellington Board of Selectmen meeting,
You'll see it.
they're utilizing it through their Zoom link. I assume they do it the same way we're doing it.
I don't know that they do it the same way we're doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, there
In
should
fact,
be.
I don't know that they don't have, for example, I don't think they have Taiki handling their Zoom.
Yeah, I don't know who handles
John?
it.
No,
Do
they, no, Wellington took it over themselves. I think the clerk. and
trained
the
their own
clerk's
people.
assistant, yeah.
How about Mansfield?
Mansfield has a pretty elaborate setup in their conference.
they've got a whole different animal.
In their
Our
council
big
chambers.
sister? Okay.
So I would really like to move forward with this.
Well, I don't have a problem with that. I just like to see it myself in action, but I don't know what the lag period once we okay it to order it in is. Do you have an idea?
It's interesting. I would be working with Cheryl, make sure it was ordered appropriately through the mechanism she uses. But I can tell you that the price is the same. I've talked with the person who Wellington ordered it through. I didn't ask how fast he could get it, but he quoted the same price that it is on Amazon. And I could get it 2 days on Amazon.
2 days?
Yes. The issue is more making sure we have the laptop that goes with it. Okay, and that would be through Cheryl. So.
Well, I'll take your word and Paul's word and anybody else that's familiar with this. I'll make a motion to go ahead and purchase, approve the expenditure for the funding for both the OWL and the associated laptop and installation.
Thank you, Bill. And that's really going to go under what we already approved, the 2,500 for hybrid meetings anyway. So do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. And we'll get that going as quickly as we can. Bill, and again, I'm offering to help with the setup since I'm probably a little more knowledgeable than others. And
Okay, project manager.
okay. All right. The next one is additional help in the finance office. Where are we going with this? It's been on here for a while. Bill, you wanted to look at some more information?
Yeah, and I haven't made up my mind. I'd ask that we move it to the next meeting and
Okay, so I think it's, just so you know, I think it's been moved. This will be the fourth time. Is there any issues with us continuing to move something that's old business like this? No, no, okay. So it's moved to the next meeting. I don't think we need a vote for that, correct? No.
I mean, just to share with you and Roger my thoughts on it, what I'm looking at is the implications of perhaps, and I believe there's already a line item for our floating clerk to complement, instead of just the finance office, all of the offices. But I want to familiarize myself with the background and the job descriptions a little more than I've been able to do so far.
When you talk about, I'll just say that when you talk about a floating clerk, what we had for a floating clerk before will not work anymore. People need to have specialized skills to be able to sub or support these offices.
Not only
So
skills,
I'm just like to point that
certification.
out so that you consider that when you're looking at this. Roger, what'd you have to say?
But I also, but not just, but the certifications too.
Right.
Yeah, not just a skill, but the certification.
Right. They cannot act in the stead of others automatically.
I mean, as we're all well aware of, we've got several vital offices in town hall that are being manned by one individual.
Right.
And that's why I want to take a look at it. Before I'm comfortable, make a recommendation to the Board of Finance. I just want to I want to look into it and research it on my
So I'm
own.
going to assume you're going to do the research on that for us.
I'm going to ask Chris to get me some documentation and take a look at that, and I'll certainly report back.
Okay. All right. The next thing we have is an executive session to discuss pending litigation pertaining and possible settlement of Kettle Rock Properties Joint Venture LP and Kettle Rock Properties of Connecticut INC versus the town of Wellington, Connecticut and town of Ashford, Connecticut, pending in the Superior Court.
You missed.
Oh, Tremco House.
C.
I'm sorry.
Trump House.
Oh, and I read that whole thing? How tedious. Okay, sorry. Discuss formation of a committee charged with review of phasing plan for rehabilitation of the Tremco House prepared by Robert Hurd. So what we did last meeting was we talked about the skill sets and breadth of the committee, the people to be on the committee. We didn't have specific people, but we certainly talked about what the makeup of the committee ought to be. And I believe it was 5 people. What Chris has done is she has drafted a charge for the committee. So, and I think, Roger, you and Bill have that charge.
Yep.
So I think that would be the best place to start. You tell me, to make sure we've got the charge correct, and then talk again about what we think the makeup of that committee should be.
I don't have any problem with the charge. I've reviewed it.
Yep.
With the understanding that we may have to fine tune it here and there as things progress. But I have no problem with the draft that Chris came up with.
So how about you, Roger? Shall we have a motion to adopt this charge?
Yeah, make the motion.
Bill?
I'll second that. Have we shared that with any potential members of that committee or?
No,
Not
we're
yet.
really talking about what the job of the committee is. So we haven't reached out to them.
Okay, you said no and Chris said yes.
What? We haven't shared the charge with anybody,
Okay,
just with you guys.
okay.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second for
Yep.
that, to accept the charge.
Yep.
Yeah,
Good. Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Chris, nice job on writing that up.
Thank you.
Okay, now do we want to have any more discussion about number of people? How do we want to approach getting the people to fill this committee? Because Mr. Hurd is supposed to have his proposal done by the end of December.
I think we ought to all give some thought to members and make some recommendations at a future meeting.
Okay. All right, moving along. This executive session, since we have other people on here, do we want to move that to the end of the meeting?
Yeah, I kind of feel I got all the information that we needed at our last executive session.
So Roger, did you?
Yep.
So can we waive this executive session?
I'm comfortable with that.
All right, all in favor of waiving the executive
Stop,
session?
stop.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you have to, I think you can go, you have to go in and then come out. You don't have to discuss it, but you have to, when you come out of executive session,
We,
at which time somebody has to move the resolution.
so
So it's all connected. So
I don't think we need to go into the executive session. I think we can just move the resolution.
I believe that's right.
Yeah, so we don't have to stop the meeting, go into an executive session to have a discussion because we've already discussed it at the previous executive session. And there's no changes to people's understanding, unless you think there's an update we should give them, Chris.
no, but I think the two things are related.
They're kind of not supposed to be. The motion is supposed to be its own animal, right?
I beg to differ, and that's not the impression I guess, because we did discuss after the last meeting with town council, and I didn't get the idea it was an imperative situation.
But what we
If I-
can do, you know what? Let's not go back and forth. How about we just have a motion to move this down to the bottom of the agenda? So then we don't interrupt everybody else that's on here. And then we can take it up then. Would that work?
I have no problem with that.
All right, could I have a motion to move it
So
So
move.
moved. Second,
in a second? Thank you very much. That'll go to the bottom of the agenda.
All right.
Awesome. Okay. New business, street lighting. Okay, I have gone back and forth with Eversource. I have, they've given me multiple systems to work with to put in our requests. I got the correct system today. Wait, no, yesterday at the end of the day. I haven't had a chance to put in these requests for the projects. There'll be projects. And they asked for specific addresses where these are going to go as part of using their system. So Bill, I can try and put them in, or I can show you how to go into that system to put them in. Your choice.
is it just a matter of putting in an address? I mean,
A
we know
specific-
that we're talking about two specific lights, right?
Yeah, we have two specific lights. I have another one I can go into the other system, which is for repairs. There's a light out on Cotswold, which is a different kind of an animal than new poles or new lights.
Catherine, if you're familiar with that, you know the addresses and everything. I just put them in.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Um,
Now, again, that's on Lakeview and 89 and on Upton and 74, correct?
Actually, we had it on Old Town Road.
I'm sorry. That's
Okay.
right.
Now, I looked at this on Old Town Road. It's a little hard to do the right thing with the address, but I'm gonna do the best I can. There is a pole at the house that's on the corner of Old Town Road and Ference Road. But that pole, if there's a light put on, it's gonna shine right into the house. Then across from that is what was Smitty's, what's it called now, Cash's? And there is a very little island on the corner of Cash's property. I think what'll happen is if they go to put a pole in there, they're gonna be tearing up part of the parking lot. But I'm not sure how big a hole they have to make to put in a pole. So,
Well, why don't we get the requisition in and I'm sure they'll let us know if they have an issue with it.
okay. Will do. All right, item number 9B, authorize first selectman to sign Necog contract for administrative services relating to ARPA funding. This is, you have the contract. We've discussed this before. I'd like to get this signed. I think we're one of the last ones to get ours signed.
So moved.
We
Second.
have a second, thank you. Any discussion?
You gonna do that tonight, Catherine?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, I gotta make sure to remember to do that. Okay, an update on the OSHA inspection findings. Well, we met with OSHA again. And what we found out was actually the original fine was really $7,760, and they had cut it in half before they sent us the formal write-up. So it was 3,830 when we received it. After our meeting with them, it's been cut down to 1,950, which is very good news. And the only item that is truly outstanding is a hearing test that has to have, that's been scheduled for November 30th. And that's a hearing test with, I don't know, using the loudest machinery we have. So
What's it, a decibel reading on the machinery?
I don't know. It's looking at what we have for headgear and how loud the machine is. So I'm assuming they check decibels.
Okay. Well, that's good news on the 1900 and 1900.
And 50. Yep.
38.
Yeah, they've been very good to work with, and you know, we've Public Works has gone and done a good cleanup of what they had to clean up. Okay, the next thing is, oh wait, I had one more thing on this. I would like to strongly suggest that we not allow unauthorized, untrained persons in the transfer station shed. I think it's an OSHA violation to have someone who's untrained around the machinery. And there are the buttons that hold the conveyor and whatever else in there. So I just wanted to point that out. We do have a sign that says employees only, I believe. I did go down there on Sunday at 1:30 and found someone in the shed that shouldn't have been there.
In the main shed there near the dumpster?
Yep. Okay, American Rescue Plan, potentials for project funding. Oh, we already did this and we got the approval. Sorry. Oh, wait. That was, I think we kind of double counted this. This was approval to enter an agreement with Necog for that. So that's been done.
Yep.
Review a broadband infrastructure proposal received from Spectrum. So let's see, Chris and I have had, I think, 6 meetings with
Something like that.
Spectrum. Sorry?
Something like that.
Something like that. And worked very hard on this, trying to find out where we have unserved population and where we have underserved population. Our focus is on unserved right now because that's all part of what Arpa is about. So we have, there's a proposal you should have received. It was a new one we got today. Bill, I can't remember if you came in to pick up anything today.
I did not.
All right. So this is for unserved and it's regular installations and it would cover both. So an irregular or special installation is one where it's more than 200 feet back. We did talk to them about that. Normally they consider anything over 150 feet as being a special installation and you're charged more for it. But we talked them into, I believe, into 200 feet. So
That they'll consider that as a regular installation?
yes. And I'm not sure whether to get into where all the roads are because I think this is, I don't know that this is something that should go out to the public yet to manage their expectations, but I'd like to make sure that the selectmen are all looking at this proposal. And if you need additional information about it, since it is something that would be going into a legal document, perhaps we can have a special meeting about that.
Do we have any ballpark figures on cost?
For this particular one, it is servicing a few roads where it has been identified that they are unserved. And it's about $60,000. That would be our portion of it. Eversource funds a portion of it. And this would be funded through ARPA funds. Now, that's only for regular installations on these roads. If they have special installations, it doesn't cover that. And Chris, I think we had 4 roads that had not a lot of people, but they all required special installations. So they're not covered in this. So I believe what you're gonna have is you're gonna have one contract for the regular, these unserved folks and letting them have regular installations, and another one for the more specialized ones.
Do we have an idea of how many households we're talking about?
Chris, can you say off
I'm sorry?
how many
What?
households we're talking about when we're talking about the $60,000? It's 59,000.
Give me a second.
Offer, I gotta find it here. Do we have it in the packet? I can't remember.
No. No, there was no
1,
mention
2,
of.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Oh, yeah, we got the new one.
9 houses on Hillside Road.
Yeah.
4 on Lead Mine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on Lips and 1 on Peas.
19.
I think that's 19. And I think you're gonna wanna, look over the proposal more closely before we act on it. What do you think, Bill and Roger?
Oh, I think we ought to look at it. It's something that we've all felt, it's been one of our goals to broaden communications in town, and I think this is a good step towards that.
Yeah, it's a pretty important one.
I'm curious on what we intend on submitting for reimbursement out of our funding that we're getting for this. Do we
For reimbursement?
out of the funding, the ARPA funding for this? Do we
We don't
have
get
to,
reimbursed.
it's going to be paid for, right?
Yes, what happens is we've already received half of the 1.2 million dollars. The first tranche we received, I don't know, a few months ago. The second one is supposed to come next April, I think it is. Okay, and then we have until the end of 2024 to use it all. We have to have a good plan in place at the end of 2022, I think it is.
I guess what I'm asking, what I'm not clear on,
Chris is shaking her head, so I might be wrong.
I thought it was 24.
You have to have a plan in place first. Yes, Bill.
what I'm concerned about is that if we commit to spending these funds and they are rejected as not being eligible, then as I understand it, then the town is liable for them.
Right, but you have to remember something about this in particular, that ARPA, the number 4 category for ARPA is to increase broadband.
Yeah, I read the categories, but I mean, is there a fail-safe? Is there an acknowledgement from them that these funds are appropriate under ARPA?
So
I know
we're
we've
working
spent,
with Necog.
yeah,
Okay, so Necog will help us with the filing. They'll review what we're filing. But you never have a complete fail-safe. I'm trying to think of, we have to understand what we are asking for and make sure that it fits the categories that ARPA
I
has.
may be asking for fried ice here, but
I've never heard that.
I'm just
Are other towns doing this?
Oh, yeah,
committing the money.
yes, they are.
And- Yeah. Okay. Well, I just would
You know what?
hate,
Other
would hate to
towns,
see that we make just to throw this one out, because we're talking about it right now, a $60,000 commitment.
Yeah.
And then there's some sort of a loophole or something where the feds suddenly say, oh, that wasn't our intent, and it is not eligible, because then we'd be crawling back to the Board of Finance asking for funding that we have not budgeted.
that's why it's important to look at what the ARPA requirements are, okay? And I know that they're kind of dense to go through, but, and you could certainly talk with other towns. I have.
Yeah,
To make sure that it seems to fall under the right categories. What I did do is for what we have looked at, I have talked with John Filchek at Necog. Now, remember, Necog is the one who's administering this for us.
mhm.
So confirming that in fact, things like laptops and this and that and whatever are appropriate for this, fits the categories. So what I have seen is a town like Bolton has one big project. They've got a big water project that they want to connect, I think, with Manchester in some way. And so they're putting almost all of their monies, if not all of them, into that. So they don't have many of these smaller things that we're doing. I believe that over in Wellington, they used ARPA funds for replacing desktops, which is what we're looking at as well, because that's, it was interesting when I was talking with Erica months ago, that's what she was talking about. So it would be good to have a conversation. You could have a conversation with her, with Jim Rupert over in Bolton, because he's their town administrator, and you know, towns around us.
Has Connecticut Conference of Municipalities been involved in this at all, do you know?
They put
I'm
out
sorry?
information. They put out information about it, but they're not really part of it. I think they're more focused on getting the state to use additional funds that they have coming to them for things that they should. And some of that's broadband.
Okay,
Okay. It was, I will tell you that when we were trying to research it, it was pretty tough. Trying to find out, you can't ask who all the customers are from Spectrum. That's a violation, a security violation, if you will.
confidentiality.
And it's also, they can't give out information quite like that because of terrorist concerns. Okay, it's not common stuff. Just as Eversource doesn't give out all the specifics because of the same thing. So what we did do was we asked where they did not have service. Okay, so we could tell, and they sent their crews out to look on our roads, and we caught them making mistakes doing it. Okay, but we think we've got a pretty good handle on it, and we've gotten down to specific houses, you know, specific addresses with the ones that we're talking about in this contract. So,
Okay, good.
yeah, so Chris has dogged this one. All right. So again, that one is something that maybe we could look at in the near future for broadband, and look at whatever the other option is as well. I would encourage you to have her draw up the other part of it too. She had originally sent something that covered everything but didn't cover the hookups all the way. And that was, you know, a lot more money than we thought was prudent at this time, and we wanted more specifics. So breaking it up into the people who that are unserved today and have regular installations seemed like a good way to approach it, and then move on to the other ones. Okay. Pickleball court repair quotes. We got on that quote, you've got a quote in your package, plus one of the other companies came back and said they were giving the same quote as they had the last time, Premier Seal Coating and Line Striping.
As I recall, we had 3 quotes from before, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
And the one for this company is about 20,000. The one for the other one was about 24,000, I think. The new one that we had the last meeting. And but I will say that this group that did this second one, you know, it said it was the same. They never came out to actually look at the quote again. So, you know, that's what they've given us for an estimate now. It can't be fixed until spring.
Yeah.
But I don't want this one to fall off the radar. This is we have a lot of people playing pickleball to the point where they want to play indoor pickleball now.
No, it's important that when we, you know, install these things that we continue to maintain them.
Right. The other two that are here, restoration of Pompei Hollow Park trails and restoration of Ashford Memorial Park trails, are only on the list because they would fall under ARPA. And we don't have enough people on our public works crew to do the work. And people are trying to use those trails. So I'm a little concerned about potential liability. I guess the trails were created originally by volunteers. There's also a couple of bridges of some kind out behind Pompei.
They were paid for with CBDG grants.
Okay.
And in those grants, the town made certain assurances about maintenance of them.
Oh, they did. Okay.
That's my recollection, but that was.
So I'm not sure that, yeah, I'm not sure the right way to approach these as to how we would get them cleaned up and fixed. One of the bridges has a problem. So that's why they're sitting on the list. I don't know where you want to go with them.
Yeah, we'll investigate a little more and come up with a proposal.
Okay. The next one is CLMRM radio purchase for Ashford DPW, Ashford Volunteer Fire Department, and actually for the EMD as well. So you have, I think there's an estimate in there. It's a huge estimate. It is not correct. It is a super ballpark estimate that I got without us knowing what the fire department really wanted, what EMD might need, and we had a sense of what Public Works would need. Now, the other towns, I don't have it. I don't know if I have it here with me. The other towns around us, there's like 8 towns. I think 4 of them already have this for public works and or fire department or both. And 4 of them are using 4 other ones are using American Rescue funds to obtain these radios. So you were going to say something, Roger?
Well, yeah, again, I just, in terms of, I know we've had conversations at some of the fire department meetings.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I was looking before, I kind of reviewed back to when we were dealing with our capital project. And initially our capital project spending plan was for $20,000 for the radios for the public works, I guess. And now suddenly it's catapulted to over $70,000.
Well, you've got to understand something. When the person gave me the quote, he said, this is high, it's super high.
Mhm.
It would need to be refined down. I was almost reluctant to send it out to you guys because I didn't want you to have sticker shock over something you would be too early to have a sticker shock over.
Okay.
Okay, so this is something, that's not the number.
Right.
It just gives you an idea of the kinds of things that are included. And that was like the Cadillac version.
Mhm.
Okay, we're really looking for a something much smaller.
Mhm.
So when we were talking about the public works, yeah, it was about 20,000 because it was 2,000 per radio. For I think there's an email in here from the chief, fire chief, saying what he thinks they need, which is smaller than what they're saying on the quote.
Mhm.
And then should also be with that email, something from our emergency management director that says what he feels he needs.
Mhm.
And I don't know if he put it in there, but also the thinking was the first selectman should have that radio as well.
Mhm.
These radios are really for the events that are major events. They're not for regular fires and things like that. You already have something for that.
Mhm.
These are for where you, there's going to be communications that are not just limited to our town. And, again, a number of other towns are already around us already have. So, and they would, I believe, qualify for American Rescue Plan, but I think we should look, certainly more closely at it.
Mhm.
All right. And if we're done talking about that particular one, we can move on to the next one.
I just agree that we've got to maintain that on the list, and I think we're probably all in agreement our number one responsibility to the community is public safety. And I think this is the coordination, just sort of thing that we're all hoping for.
Yeah, you know, we're just fortunate that we're getting American Rescue Plan funds. That's manna from heaven. We haven't really had anything happen like that. Okay, the next one is the Ashford Volunteer Fire Department Reporting System Upgrade. So the current reporting system, which is called FIRE, and it's, you probably have something in your packet on this, is at end of life. I believe its end of life is either mid-year next year or the end of the year. And perhaps you know, Roger.
Yeah, I think it's end of the next year. Yeah.
Yeah, December 31st of 2022.
Mhm.
So you want to do this upgrade, and this particular upgrade will integrate with the current EMT system. And how was it put? Bear with me. Check what Roger said. And not Roger, but Tom. He said the new system is a quantum leap and will offer flexibility. Also, the existing system is very fragile. Okay.
Mhm.
So this one is, it's called ESO Fire Record Management System. Like I said, it integrates with the other. It sounds pretty cool. So if it isn't something that qualifies for American Rescue Plan funds, and it may, it certainly should be on the capital improvement plan.
I agree.
The other thing too is Cheryl has been working on assessing how much of the $1.2 million that's really around COVID and safety, economic restoration, if you will, based upon the impact of COVID. There's a calculation that can be made and is being made by all of the other towns around us, because they're the ones that said, Catherine, you should be doing this, which is that the feds, for whatever reason, said every municipality should be getting, having a 4.1% increase in revenue every year. So we know that's not the case for us.
Yep.
And it's not the case for a lot of other municipalities. So there's a very complex calculation based upon multiple years that can be performed to look at our revenues and look and see how much below 4.1% they were. And with that calculation, what you can do is you can take of the $1.2 million, you can take a certain percentage that can be used for something else, not COVID related. So this can be, it could be anything from a truck to whatever. And so it's something that Cheryl will be working on. She's, you know, she did quite a bit with it. It's extremely complex. And she'll be working on that as she's going forward, so that you have the information to make decisions with.
Has anybody of the wish list that we put together so far, and I know a lot of the figures are very raw at this time, but has anybody looked at the bottom line where we are as compared to the funding?
Bottom line being?
Dollar amount, total dollar amount that we've estimated all of these things may cost us.
Not all of these, because we haven't estimated all of these. Okay, we do have what we've approved, okay, and what we've spent. That's,
You have those at hand, or?
no, I don't, I'm sorry, I don't have them right at hand. I
Okay.
have some pieces of it at hand.
Chris, could you see if you could talk to Cheryl and just, and we'd all have to understand that it's going to be a very rough estimate and we're near a final figure, but I'd just be curious where we are in the walk this time with that.
Yeah, actually, I've been working with Cheryl, so I could probably provide that to you.
Okay.
Save a little work on Chris's part. Okay. So the next thing is Tyke Zoom support. So in the 2020 21 fiscal year, 2020, 2021, we had, let me see what they're called here. COVID CRF funds, I think it was, COVID relief funds. And we got some money for that. And with that, we were able to buy PPE and able to pay Tyche for their Zoom support, because then we started doing Zoom meetings. So when we did our budget planning in February, January and February, we, what was overlooked was the fact that Tyche, we still have Zoom meetings going on. And so we've run out of the CRF money, and we need to support the Zoom meetings that we're having with Tyche. So the total on that going through next April 30th is when the governor's order, or whatever it is, let me see what it's called here. I'm trying to remember. The Connecticut budget implementation. It was from Senate Bill 1202. That shows that this had to do with having electronic meetings, etc. So at that point, that's when the governor's, whenever that's when that ends. April 30th is the date for that particular rule. So what we've done is we've estimated what we would need to cover the Tyche stuff through to April 30th, and it's $11,300, or what I would call $12,000, based upon the number of meetings we anticipate having for the different boards. So what I would like to do is pursue getting this approved, because we're having our Tyche meetings, and we're having our Zoom meetings, and we've got to be able to pay them, and we don't have it in our budget. And this is definitely ARPA funding.
And we're also still talking about the OWL and related computers for that as well.
Yep, the OWL is its own separate thing. That's one that we already essentially approved.
But
This
that's
one
still-
is for the specifically for the Zoom support.
Okay. But we need the Zoom support for the OWL meeting, right?
We need Zoom support for Zoom meetings. Yes, yeah, for OWL meetings, you're just tacking on a good way to see everybody.
Okay. Yep.
So the amount is 12, I'm saying 12,000 instead of 11,300, just to make sure.
Now, if there ends up being special town meetings or anything, should we figure any more funds in that for that sort of thing, Catherine?
It would probably be a good idea. I was really looking at mostly the regular meetings, and for the, we looked at the fact we'll have more Board of Finance meetings.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. You
And-
never know with the budget time coming up or whatever.
Yeah,
Why don't we approve 15,000?
I like that. Okay, can we have a motion for that?
So moved.
With a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Right?
Aye. Thank you very much. The other thing is that we had also started before replacing employee laptops with workstations with laptops with docking stations, so they can take them home and work from home, which they weren't able to do before when we were first struck with COVID. That's where we had to have some downtime. And we've already replaced a few of them, and we have a few more, and they are for, let me just see my little notes here. EMD, hang on.
We got the one for DPW, right?
No, that hasn't come yet. That's going to actually be out of a separate thing.
Okay.
That I've already spoken with Cheryl, and that will be a tablet. And that one is not COVID related, so to speak.
Okay. All right.
It's more that he would have something in the field
Mhm.
to work with, which I think is a great idea, because I think that when he's doing his, when they're doing road work, he could be marking down what they're doing and how much they're using.
Yep.
Right while he's there. And also particularly when we have storms, he can take pictures and everything through it and put down whatever the yardages of stuff he's putting down for repairs. But that's a separate animal. This one is employee laptops that are being replaced. These are old workstations, these hard drives that we have sitting here, being replaced with laptops for 4 people. They've already covered the other, I think, 4. And what goes with them is the docking station. That's a separate fee, but it's included in the amount of money that's needed. And what's needed is about $6,000 to finish them.
I'll move for $6,000 for.
Yeah,
I'll second that.
thank you.
So, Catherine, for DPW,
Yep.
repeat again, where are we with Joe's laptop?
Chris said that it's not actually, be careful when you're talking to Cheryl because she'll tell you it's not a laptop. I've been corrected. It is a tablet, and she's pursuing that. She got a little unsure because she wasn't sure what she should be doing with the laptops or whatever. So I told her we would take sure we took care of this tonight. But she has funds. The thing that the tablet is not expensive. Where laptops tend to be more expensive. So she has room in whatever budget for the tablet. And I didn't write down which one she said, but she did tell me specifically which one.
Some of these tablets will not take the beating of being in a truck and on the job on construction. I hope she's going to get a heavy duty if there's such an animal.
That's what I feel exactly the same way. And I think that, it's time to take our public works director out of the dark ages in terms of what he's working with. He doesn't need to be working with paper all the time while he's out there.
Yep.
It doesn't wear well. So yes, and it has to be something that's pretty solidly built and has a good cover on it. And with these laptops, by the way, she has, we're getting bags that go with them and the docking stations, so that they're kept safe. And the rule is an employee takes them home every night so that if something happens, whether we have a COVID situation or whether something else happens, they've got them at home. And I will tell you, we do have another employee with COVID today. I was notified yesterday, so I'm not going to get into who it is, but we have another one.
Well, that's the other thing too, is I think with these docking workstations, because in many cases you have to sit there in quarantine for a period of time. And if we can allow them to work at home, that would be kind of beneficial.
Exactly. And a great example is that we had already replaced Katie's. Mm-hmm. Katie has one. And so she was feeling a bit under the weather and she had been exposed as well. And she worked from home.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. All in favor on that one?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved. Thank you very much. And let's see. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that we had set aside $1,590 for Eastern Highlands. They had asked for funds to offset costs that they had. So Cheryl was able to find another place to apply that. It was through a special funding that we have anyway. So we had approved this, and now those monies will not be used from ARPA. And the rationale behind it was that while we were looking at it from the standpoint of they had asked us for the $1,590 and we got the request after the end of July, so to speak, or after the end of the fiscal year, we had what they did was they spent the money in the prior fiscal year, so it was already incurred. So when I talked to Cheryl, she said, no, we have a place where that goes. It was already incurred, so it doesn't need to be part of ARPA, which is great. I think that you're gonna find, particularly you, Bill, when you're in the office, you're going to find that you're gonna have to weave your way through these things because, you know, we always are looking for someplace else to fund something besides ARPA, if we have something available. In this case, we didn't recognize this one. I don't think she knew at the time.
Again, I was just kind of looking at that ESO form.
Yes.
And, you know, they list, you know, total fees, $9,031 for it. They list one-time fees and then recurring fees.
Tell me the recurring fees, because I looked at it, but I didn't look as closely as I should have.
Well, it just is the total recurring fees, $6,903. One-time fee was $67.15.
Yeah.
They gave us some discounts, but I'm assuming that that's just to get us to buy into it, and that once it's installed, we'll have almost $7,000 a year in recurring fees.
So we'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
See whether it's worth it. And are the fees for the whole ball of wax that they gave us, because they gave us much more than.
Ball of wax, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe they're much less than that.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see where we are. Board, commission, committee appointments. We have, I don't think we have any new ones here. Oh, wait, what do we have here? Yeah, we've got reappointments.
Yeah, there are some that we've let slide.
So we've got, so are we looking at only the last one, the reappoint to serve for economic development, or are we looking at other ones before that? Oh, here's one. Recreation Commission. Fill one alternate seat, term to expire, reappoint alternate Andrew Doring to April 1st, 2023.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Commission on Aging, nope, nothing. Core, OTO, Our Town, Our Future Core Committee. Reappoint Ray Fenn, Maureen Hannick, Gwen Holland, Richard Williams, Mike Gantic. We've got their names and they're ready to be reappointed.
When did their term expire? Has it yet?
It says their terms run concurrently with those of the Board of Selectmen.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, I got that wrong. Yeah, yes, it says that. So we would be reappointing them.
Because I see it says reappointment to serve to February of 25. That's not concurrent with the Board of Selectmen.
That's the economic development.
That's the economic develop, that's the whole.
That's a different
commission.
one. So go down, go to
Wow.
OTOF. It's the fourth bullet down.
Gotcha.
And wait, quick question, Chris. Is Margie Chady on there?
She didn't expire. She expires. No, wait a minute, reappoint to February 24th. Yeah, Margie Chady and Terry Wake, wait a minute, let me read this. Reappoint to serve February. I can't. John Rettenheim, Rich Williams, Gary Lawrence, Ray Finn, and Mark, somebody. Reappoint to February 24th. Margie Chady and Terry Wakeman get reappointed to February of 2024. Mike Gantic, John Rettenmeyer, Bob Ignatowicz, Richard Williams, Gary Lawrence, Ray Fenn, and I don't know who Mark is. They get appointed to February of 2025. And the two alternates get reappointed to 2025.
So when we're saying their terms run concurrently with those of the Board of Selectmen, is it for
That's the core committee.
Core Committee? Thank you. Okay, I was wondering if it was these. So, so the Core Committee, because of how the elections every 2 years, that's why they're getting reestablished. Okay, so can we have a motion to appoint these people to the Core Committee?
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Conservation Commission. Let's see, their terms run concurrently. So we have Roble, Mortico.
Loretta Roble, Steve Mariko, Gwen Holland, Chris Acebo, Janet Bellamy,
Pam
Pam
Summers,
Summers, and
W. Dubinsky.
yeah,
Therefore,
that's the husband and the wife is the alternate, and they have one vacancy.
okay,
An
so do we do
alternate.
this in one motion or do we do it in two for regular members and alternates? How about we do it in two motions? So we don't. mess
So
it up.
moved with the first motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And then for the alternate, S. Dubinsky.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, we're down to Economic Development Commission, reappoint to serve to February of 2025. This one is going to be three motions. It's going to be, the first one is Michael Gantick, John Rittenmeyer, Rob Ignatowicz, Richard Williams, Gary Lawrence, Ray Fenn. And who's Mark?
I don't know, I have to look.
Had we talked previously about having, asking them, inviting them to one of our meetings?
Funny you should ask that. I had it on my notes. That's it, your pleasure. You're gonna be doing the,
Yeah, I still think it's a good idea.
okay, yeah, I think so too.
I'll make a motion for the first group.
Okay,
Including Mark.
who, okay, Chris, do you know who Mark is?
I'm looking.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
We're just trying to make sure we get the name right.
Mark Fontaine, he's an alternate.
Very good. Mark Fontaine. I gotta write that down. Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. And then we have reappoint to February of 2024, Margaret Chady, Terry Wakeman. That needs a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. The next one is alternates to reappoint Mark Fontaine and Carrie Olson to February 25.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you very much. That's great. So you got them straightened around. Okay, tax refunds.
Yes, I have lots.
You have lots? You,
Jerry Campion, all citing the same statute, 12-129. Jerry Campion in the amount of $100.95. Brian Hatch in the amount of $144.40. VW Credit Leasing for $39.67. Carolyn Mercier for $24.73. Nissan Infinity Limited, I believe, for $388.21. And Hyundai Lease Titling Trust. There are two for them, 132.35 and 241.74 for a total of $374.09.
a motion?
So moved.
Second. Can we pay for these out of the American Rescue Plan?
No, All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you. Okay. Now we're gonna go into our executive session
All right.
to be safe.
Okay.
So this is executive session to discuss pending litigation. Let's just make sure we have John in there.
Yeah,
Um,
do you want me to open up a breakout room? Or
I'm just gonna,
ask
well,
people to
No,
go?
it's not gonna be, I don't think it's gonna be necessary because, well, you can if you wish. Yeah, why
I'm
don't you
gonna
do
go,
that?
so I'll just say goodnight.
Okay, if we have other people that are saying good night, then we don't need to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's-
okay,
So you've got, yeah, so
okay,
Jeff and
and
Judith.
then Judy, are you gonna be dropping off?
I'm sorry?
I'm waiting to see if Judy is dropping off. And Jeff, are you dropping off?
Yes, I'll be leaving.
Thank you. Judy, are you dropping off?
I could, I could eject her.
Judy, are you still there?
I think she's gone. Oh, wait, she's still showing.
Yes,
Just a
she's still
second.
showing.
I can, I can eject her.
I know, but I'm making sure we don't go to that if we don't have to. Judy, are you still there?
Going once. Going twice. Ejected.
Okay. Go ahead, John.
Okay, she's been removed. I can pause the recording and I
Thank you very
will,
much. Let me do the, don't pause it yet. Let me do the thing. Executive session to discuss pending litigation pertaining and possible settlement of Kettle Rock Properties Joint Venture LP and Kettle Rock Properties of Connecticut Incorporated versus the town of Wellington, Connecticut and the town of Ashford, Connecticut, pending in the Superior Court. Now, motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
At 8:36. Very good. And,
Okay, so here's my wording.
oh, wait, and so we need a motion.
Motion for,
A motion pertaining to this litigation
okay,
so that we can, as we discussed before, we can solidify this.
so moved.
What's our motion? Chris?
You want me to read the motion, the resolution?
Yes, we need to have that so it goes into the record. Is it a long one?
No. Resolved that the Board of Selectmen approves the settlement and limited release agreement in the form presented and as substantially discussed at this meeting, and authorizes the first selectman to execute such agreement to resolve the litigation styled Kettle Rock Properties Joint Venture LP and Kettle Rock Properties of Connecticut, Inc. versus Town of Wellington, Connecticut and Town of Ashford, Connecticut, docket number TTD-CV-21-6023585-S, which is presently pending in the Superior Court for the Judicial District of Tolland at Rockville. That's the resolution.
Can we have a first on that?
I'll make the motion first.
I will second it.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
As an aside, Linda asked me to inform the board that by statute, you will have to let her know that these properties are no longer taxable. They are tax exempt.
That's fine. I wanted to get the vote recorded. Motion passes. Thank you. So, we need to inform Linda, correct?
Tax rules.
I'll read Linda's email.
Okay.
I've attached two set of statutes that Adam has referenced for our use and asked at the selectmen's meeting on Monday that it be noted that Kara and I should be notified that the Cadle properties shall be tax exempt.
Oh,
Linda
until,
didn't think it needed a motion or a vote.
I would make that a separate motion. Because that's not something that, we have the same motion as Wellington does. So, I would want that to be a separate motion that we are saying that those properties, that Ashford has would be tax exempt.
This is by statute. So
So we don't need it?
I don't think you need she said you don't need a motion because
Oh.
it's statute, there are statutory references.
All right. Thank you for giving us the references. Okay. And I wanted to do a special thank you to Chris because she has worked on this long and hard to make this happen. And it's a good moment to actually be at this point. So thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, I think we are at adjournment, gentlemen, unless you have something else.
I just want to thank you, Catherine. For
Oh, you know
everything.
what? Wait, I'm sorry. There's one thing I think we missed. That was to have a motion to, forgive me. I gotta look at my little thing. This was to get Bill as signatory for the,
They passed it during the briefing. They made
oh,
a
they
motion,
did?
passed it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Just being careful.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're at adjournment.
Okay, quick question. I mean, we got these things from the state audit and what have you. Is that just FY for our information?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, it's
Excellent.
it's light reading.
yeah.
Okay.